Her face was long, somewhat, slightly oriental. That's interesting. There was an oriental streak in my family, clearly. Tartar, somewhere, in the shape of the head, the tall, sort of ridgepole skull occurs in a number of them. And the configuration of the cheeks and the eyes was most striking in one of her sisters, Sarah, the one who lived in New York, who really looked somewhat Mongol. I think of her face as long and pensive. There was a friend of hers, a young woman, who wrote a poem to her. She holds her head with slender hands as if it were an offering. That seems very, very right, very appropriate. A nice line now that I think of it. Rose Applebaum, I think, was the author of the poem. It was just a 4-line stanza. She was not tall. She was about 5 foot tall at the most. Yes, when young, she looked quite Japanese, now that I think of it, in some of the photographs of her when she was a young woman with a broad hat. She had an interest in Japan all her life for some reason. And in fact, 1 or 2 of the portraits of her that were done in Japanese style, Japanese kimono, that sort of thing. Later, her face grew heavy and sad and strained. Her life grew more and more difficult for many reasons. She walked with sort of slight tripping steps, short little steps. But she had a personality. I mean, it just sort of came out in waves from her. People were drawn to her, and she was, I remember saying to the mother of a girlfriend of mine that my mother was beautiful. And she said, "Your mother isn't beautiful. Nobody ever said she was beautiful. She's interesting, but she's not beautiful." I saw her as beautiful. I guess everyone else saw her as interesting.